Hello and welcome to episode 45 of A Dose of Sinsainty. I am GR3. I am joined by Welshie and wait, who is this?
Is there another person?
It's Jamokin!
Jamoki has come back!
He is back! Woo!
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah!
That's right, it's me, the one and only.
J-Mo! Well, we don't want to make it a big deal that he's back. He asked us to keep it pretty low key, so we're just gonna pretend that he was never gone.
Yeah.
So here we are, episode 45. Lima Major has concluded, and can I say what is probably the most entertaining major in recent memory, in the sense of what the fuck could go wrong?
Oh yeah, not for any of the right reasons, but definitely for there's some right ones, but there's a lot of wrong ones.
The games are solid. Like the ones that I watched, and don't get me wrong, it was tough to watch some of the games. Like with all this shit going on, all the audio issues, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me to watch. Ones that I did.
I don't think I watched a clip.
You've been pretty sick for a little while.
I haven't seen a thing.
Really?
So you guys, I've only seen the group chats and the messages people send me about how dog shit the major is.
It's been pretty bad, and like I was looking the other day and on Reddit, and I found an interesting post where a guy was actually talking about some of the shit that was going on, like just as like a viewer, like they're attending. And he goes, let's talk about all the bad things. He goes, there were huge delays. And obviously this is opposed to like just bashing 4D. But it was like huge delays. It was very, very hot in the arena. They had technical issues. Like it was hot to the point, like, I don't know if Welshie, if you watched some of the games, but like
I did.
there were a ridiculous amount of fans just sitting in the booths. And you could tell, like, while everyone was getting ready, like the players were just like trying to get in front of the fans because it was so hot.
Yeah, I saw a couple of players who had like 3 fans on them while playing. Like it's
Yeah.
I didn't know this was
I
actually
didn't
going
see
to be
any
an
hand
endurance
warmers.
sport for once.
I didn't see any hand warmers.
Yeah, opposite problems, right?
But he goes, let's talk about what you guys didn't know. He goes, if you left the arena to eat outside, you couldn't enter the arena again. So once you left, can't come back in. There's no schedule for the signing sessions. There was no water in the toilets.
Ew.
Yeah, ew.
Well,
There
what
was-
do you mean you?
There was only pizza and burgers to eat. So, like, that's all they had, like, the entire day. They could only choose between pizza and burgers. And they weren't allowed to leave the arena to go eat if they didn't want pizza and burgers. And I would imagine they probably didn't allow you to bring food into the arena.
Hold up. If you're gonna be a little bitch at an event and not eat pizza and want something else, I wouldn't let you back in either.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bro, pizza.
It is the jack of all trades of foods. You
It
got
really
your
is.
cheese, you got your meats, you got your breads.
What's nuts to
You
me
got it
is
all.
how simple it is to just let people back into an arena. You literally just get
Wait, no.
wristbands
Don't
printed.
are you guys allowed to get back in your arenas there? Because
Yes.
our arena you can't. You leave the
Yes.
hockey game. That's it.
In
No,
ours,
you're allowed
you
back
get
in. They just
wristbands.
rescan your tickets.
Yeah,
Oh.
that or you have a wristband. Like it's either one of
Yeah.
those. You got either a barcoded wristband or you'll get just a specialized event wristband that you just walk in with. Like they'll just check your wristband when you come in. It's for that day. It's
Oh,
really not hard.
No, it's not.
For the NHL games I've gone to, you don't get back in.
I'd make
That's
the
'cause you're in
case.
Canada.
You're done.
Yeah, I mean, I'd make the case that like an NHL game is not going to be like an all day fucking event. Like, I mean, how do people take the major? Like when I was going to the major, man, we were there at like
No, yeah,
You know, 9
I'm
a.m.
aware they're
till, like,
different events.
midnight.
I'm just saying.
fair. But yeah,
I wasn't aware it was common practice to let people back in.
in sporting events, I've had the same experience as that, though, I will say. Like, I don't think I could get back into MLB games if I walked out of the arena. Maybe I could. I'm not sure. Not been to that many MLB games, but whatever.
Yeah, you can at in St. Louis.
Fair.
You just have to notify them.
Yeah, how does so 4D is the event organizer, right? Or is 4D the arena?
They're the ones that run the entire DPC for South America.
So how
They're
is
in charge of
water
it
not
all.
being in the toilets their fault? That one I'm curious.
It's not. It's not. It shouldn't be.
Yeah,
That's kind of the venue's fault.
yeah. Same with the food.
Yeah, the
Unless
food's
you're gonna
also the
bring
venue.
catering in, which then we're talking astronomical amounts of numbers.
But
Yeah.
then you could also be like, it is also partially 4D's fault for choosing that venue when these things are like clearly an issue.
Yeah,
Because
fair.
it is 4D's responsibility to choose a venue.
Was there water in the toilets prior? Maybe a week ago there was.
How that
You
would
know,
matter. Yeah.
before the
no,
major, maybe the toilets were fine.
Yeah, that's
That's
kind
true.
of the thing that I'm thinking is like, how much of this was like, so the toilet thing only is the big one for me is just, okay, maybe the plumbing broke like day of. Maybe they didn't expect this many people to be flushing their shit or to have so many
Yeah, that's true.
constipated nerds fucking show up.
All that fucking
All
all
those
that
pizza
All that
pizza
pizza and
burgers.
burgers, dude. Yeah. Very valid point.
So the other thing, and this is one I don't agree with. So he was complaining because the only people who got the signing sessions were VIP experienced people. I don't think that's a big deal. Like that's a reason to buy VIP. That's a marketing thing. Like, I also think it's awesome because you're not forcing the players to get swarmed by tons and tons and tons of people.
So long as the players were allowed, like, let's say it was in the contract that you guys have to do like the VIP signing, like I'm fine with that, right? But so long as they were allowed to be like, well, no, I want to go sign everybody if the players wanted to, and then they'd be brought to a room and then have a signing, I'm cool with. But if they told the players you can only do VIPs, I would have said that's fucking whack.
Yeah, and that you'll never know.
But like, I don't have an issue with if it was option one where they just wanted to do VIPs and that's what happened. But if they weren't going to let the players do everybody, if the players wanted to, then I have an issue with it.
Right.
What do you think, Welshie?
I think that if it's like you said, if it's a contract thing, from what the way
Where
I'm
are
reading,
you?
What do you
Did
mean?
you walk across your room?
No, this is well, my bad.
He jumped out of his window.
Yeah,
Holy
clearly.
shit.
Apparently, if I go
Someone
3
sent him
inches
an
from my
invite?
microphone, it fucks up.
Who
everything.
sent him an invite?
Anyway, so my opinion on that is just the way I'm reading it is that the only thing that's in the VIP experience, like pack, I'm guessing if you bought like the VIP experience ticket, is that you got to go to a signing session or to the signing session. Which, I mean, as far as a
That's a
pro
shitty
player,
VIP
yeah,
pack.
exactly. I mean, I also say that if you're buying a VIP ticket, they should have an expressed, detailed list of what that is. And if you're buying a VIP ticket
So-
with having no idea what that includes, that's also on you.
What it stated was the only VIP experience is the access to the signing session.
Whack.
I mean, again, if you're spending
So-
more money on that, that's on you. That's my opinion.
Here's the other bit that they're talking. So there's like I don't know if you guys saw this on Reddit, but there's a clip where like 90% of the crowd left the arena after EG lost. And they're like, it's true. And they said it was a turnoff for us locals that they lost. But he goes, it was mainly because it wasn't the best experience. It was like really late because of all the delays. The arena is located in a remote place. Food and beverage were really expensive. There's no variety of food. One of the 4D staff said that they wouldn't have, or that they would have variety, and it was not a comfortable space to stay in for 12 plus hours. Said would have loved to root for others, but it was such an awful day one that they were just like, time to go.
I think that's valid.
And yeah, I mean, I think it is.
If
Like
you-
when
yeah.
it gets so late, like you got to think like a lot of these people are coming to more than one day. They're there for 12 plus hours, and I think there was a day where it was like first 3 hours or like 6 hours or something. There was only one game.
Hold on. Regardless of any other factors, if I buy a fucking ticket and I go to that fucking arena for one fucking game, and I only want to see that, who are you to fucking tell me I can't leave? Fuck you.
Yeah, sure.
Did you buy my fucking ticket? No. My airfare? No. Fuck you. I wanted to go down there for one day to watch one series. I bought it. Who the fuck are you to tell me I can't?
Yeah, and I mean, I do have to say that, like, oh, I came here to root for EG and EG's out. Well, I mean, if you're not that interested in any
You're
other
allowed
teams,
to leave.
yeah,
Yeah, like
I don't understand the complaining
it.
about it. Yeah. I would still say personally, like the biggest L of the whole event is, at least on a in-person basis is the fact that you can't get back into a 12+ hour event if you leave the premises.
That's stupid.
Like, that's ridiculous. Honestly, that's ridiculous. Like,
That's
you're telling me,
predatory.
yeah, especially if you're telling me the only options for food are basically like burgers and pizza that's way overpriced in the arena. Like, that's the most arena fucking event venue kind of bullshit I could have ever heard of. That like, hey, you want to be here for the whole event? All you got to eat is our shitty food. You want to leave and get normal food that's actually decent? Fuck you. You don't get back in.
I better be provided a fucking cot.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking a nap.
Because
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, Greco, you probably know this as well, Jammo, because I'm sure it's in Canada. Like, if that's the rule of the fucking venue, like, it's the same thing with MLB. Like, MLB games, fucking, dude, like, a beer is fucking $15. Like, a hot dog is $7. Like, it's insane.
Well, they can, though. Like, you ain't going anywhere else to get the food.
Well, they don't let you bring stuff in.
Yeah, they don't let you bring stuff in, and then you're like, okay, well, this is what I got.
They grab you by the balls, and then they fucking extort you for everything you're worth.
They do give you a nice PP touch before you go into the game. That's
They do give you a PP touch.
Yes.
I don't know about nice.
Hey man,
maybe as far as you're getting these days, I don't know.
Hey man, we're a little softer here in the States. But
it's cold up here, so they really got to search, you
know. The best part, I think, though, watching the finals, and then watching the whole trophy presentation, Gamma Gladiators and Liquid. It was a 3-0, if you're wondering. Just looking back and watching the trophy presentation and seeing the trophy break, and it wasn't like they dropped it. It just fell apart. And one of the dudes, I don't even know who the hell it was, started like, it might have been Quinn, like, was shining, like, there was like a green light, and it was supposed to be the regen rune.
Yeah.
Or like the regen rune came off, and it was like there's a light in the trophy that made the regen rune glow, and like the regen rune fell off, but like it basically turned the base of the thing into a fucking flashlight, and he's shining the fucking light on his teammates, laughing about it. Like, come on.
Ultimate summary of the major. So like,
yeah, and then you see people bashing it in the chat, and then you just see ban. I think so.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. I think exactly that. You saw Twitch chat just getting banned for mentioning it and talking about it.
Ban.
He's very critical of Valve and Dota, so I could definitely see that.
Oh, it was funny. And then, like, I was trying to get a screenshot of it, and they were perfectly aiming the angle so that the trophy was never in the shot. Like, they knew it was a fucking embarrassment.
Yep, they very hard tried to keep the trophy out of frame.
That's funny. But I know Welsh.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, we're done. I wanted to go. Yeah, we're still going. I wanted to kind of go over. So at the beginning of this, we kind of picked our top 3, our dark horse, and our donkey, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to see how we did. As far as Jambo goes, his top 3 were Liquid, Tundra, and PSG LGD. In the top 3, by the way, were Liquid, Talon, and Gammon. So Jamo got a point there. I got Liquid. I got a point. Your guys, I think, were eliminated immediately.
By your guys, he means mine, because I voted for PSG, LGD, Aster, Beast Coast, and Extrication.
Yes. So the dark horses that we put was Spirit, Entity, and Execration. I think Entity performed quite well, personally. They did kind of get, as soon as they get dropped into lowers, just bombed out. But not a bad finish. Let's see, they got tied for 5th, 6th. Like, not bad. I think that's about as good as you can. Spirit was out a round before. And Execration, did they even make it, did they? No, they didn't make it out of groups. And then our donkeys, so donkeys, by the way, were the ones that are supposed to perform well and then bomb out. While she had EG, I don't know, I think EG did well. Would you call that
I'm gonna make the very valid case that EG getting beaten by their previous entire roster short of one is probably the biggest L/donkey they can get.
Yeah, but it's SA still finishing like 5th, 6th.
Yeah, fine.
Like that's still pretty good.
No,
My
I'm
case
giving it
is
to
valid.
Welshie. I'm giving it to Welshie.
Fine. Shopify, they made it 4th. I can't really say that was a donkey. JMO, how did Game and Gladiators do?
I have no idea.
Oh, they won the whole thing.
I got a point on my EG. I'll take that.
Yeah, we all get 1 point.
I'm taking Gaming Gladiators. I still think that's a shitty performance.
Well, we all get 1 point, so we all get participation trophies because we love those so much, right, Jimmo?
Yay!
Fuck you. You're lucky we're recording right now.
I'm so glad that you're back.
I hate that I'm back.
Oh, we love it.
We do. So, do we want to talk about like too much into the games? Like, I know J-Mo didn't see much, I didn't see much.
A fucking second.
I'd like to say that I find it really funny that in the first game of lower bracket, it was not first game, but like in the lower bracket, PSG LGD faces Tundra in the first round.
Oh, they get fucking reminded.
They get reminded of what happened at fucking TI, and I just find
back,
that
bitches.
Yeah, I find that just real fucking funny personally. They just got to relive the fucking PTSD flashbacks of TI by getting eliminated in lower bracket by Spirit again.
They just can't, dude.
Dude, I actually feel so bad for them at this point.
But the only thing I'll mention is like, do you think that this was a disappointing performance for Liquid? Like they were by far like going in the best team in the world. Like they did have a stand-in. Boxy not being there, they had Jabs to sub in. Does this mean like Boxy is just that good? Or Jabs is that bad? Or was Gammon just
You're not a team
figured
at
it
that
out?
point.
I think it's a mix of throw off like the team dynamic by throwing a different person into the mix in the grand finals, plus the pressures of grand finals, and not respecting that you're going to give one of the best teams in the major, the best hero of the major, arguably, all 3 games in a row.
Sure. I want to expand on what JMO was just saying. So you said they're not a team at that point. Does that make it that much more impressive that they took second?
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. I mean, you throw a random player, like the whole dynamic changes. Like even more so than like when you're online pubbing like in your 82 matches or something. Like we already know how it feels when we have a stand-in. Your drafts kind of have to change. You're trying to like fit this person in, and they're pros, so they can play all the fucking heroes, but they might not play all the heroes as well, or specifically like small changes and stuff. And
Yeah,
you're trying to fit this all into your drafts, and this is all relatively last minute things. And on top of it, just the dynamic in the booth is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not sitting next to your boy anymore. It's just some dude.
Just nobody named Jabs.
I hate to actually kind of run it back on it, but it's the same thing as like, Rebecca, you remember whenever like any of us would dip on like playing in our winning season of like 82L. Like, it was just we lost a dynamic hugely when one of our players was gone. Even if we had a sub that was good.
Except when we played PSGS, we still won.
Yeah, except them. He's not going to come back to the podcast, dude.
He's never coming back. Yeah, let's move on though. The patch came out, right? And
not really.
I think the initial thought on everybody was, what the fuck?
Yep.
Like, this is what we get? And looking back and thinking about it, I'm not too shocked. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on getting a balance patch instead of 7.33.
I'll let Jammo go first.
What are my thoughts on what?
A balance patch instead of 7.33.
I was fairly confident we were getting a balance patch since it came right after the major. It's the classic TI shit. big tournament ends, you get some small balance patch to fix stuff. Arguably, this is big. They added a hero, and there's a lot of changes. As far as balancing patches go, like this would be a bigger letter. Um, I'm just glad they told us when the big patch is coming. We did kind of think it was going to be a big one. I had my doubts, obviously, just because the major, but they did say late April we're getting that big one. So for what we got, I'm happy with it. Balance patches just throw some more life into it. The game still played the same, but it's just nice to have some changes. I don't know about you guys, but bringing myself to play was getting difficult.
Yeah, I'm excited to experience a few other things. I think the biggest reason why people are upset is they played this up really big. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know if they played it up big or if the community played it up big.
It's always the community.
I think that
I didn't see Gabe on stage dancing, getting everybody excited for the new like.
Yeah, that was the biggest.
What did they do to play it up big?
That was the biggest disappointment.
well, when
the
they announced
entire
the
major,
when they were
game.
doing Lima Major stuff, they announced it also like, hey, big patch coming out in was it March 6th was what they said was going to happen.
Yeah,
Well,
but
they
what
said
does big patch mean to you?
Sorry,
Because
they
they
said-
added a hero.
Yeah, and I get that, but they said patch was coming out. Now, I personally believe that they use very specific language there to not suggest it was a big patch, but also not suggest it's 7.33, but also suggest it could be. I still personally take it as they kind of fucked up, and as usual, they had to delay timings on patch, and they still were ready to throw out Muerta. But part of me also goes, probably changing up the entirety of the game as they do with a decent size patch, at least. Like, meta changes pretty violently, map changes affect a lot. There's probably new items to kind of build into stuff, yada, yada, yada. And on top of all that, you throw in a new hero. I think that that's a lot to have happen on a big patch. I feel like it's also valid to say, like, hey, we're going to add a new hero, and then we're going to shake up the whole fucking meta in 2 months. So
So
I don't know.
here's
I
my
mean,
thoughts, if you don't mind me.
I
chiming
kind of
in.
don't care about him, but I guess whatever. Go.
I care.
My thoughts here is we just got Ice Frog back. They were probably working on this patch pre-Ice Frog. So they probably said,
Oh, for sure.
Release your balance patch, give Ice Frog time to work, and then we'll release a 7.33 big one after.
This probably was their big patch before Ice
Right.
Frog. Let's be real.
I would imagine so. And here's the other bit too: is when you release this patch, or like the big patches,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to release it right before the qualifiers to get into Div 2 and right before Div 1 starts? Or do you want to release it like in that week before the major starts? Because that's really the only two times that you have, right? Like before the major, after the majors, the only two times that you have to release.
Yeah.
So, arguably to me, you replace it just before the major because you still get extra amount of time. Like it's going to be new, right? It makes the major more exciting, but you're not dicking with people trying to get into the DPC. And you're not getting these teams like right before. Like I don't know. Like
why don't they just make the schedule with when the patch is coming in mind, and you can add extra time?
that's madness.
Am I am I crazy? Can we not just have foresight on the dev team?
I mean,
Hey, when are you guys gonna patch? We're gonna do 3 big patches this year. Okay, sweet. When do you guys want to release them? Here, here, and here. Okay, sweet. We'll give teams an extra, week or 2 weeks to prepare. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
here's
feel like
the other thought is you release like one major patch a year, balancing patches like in between,
Post-major.
maybe some like post major you do balancing patches. So you have 3 balancing patches and a major patch, and then like a large patch after TI, right?
Yeah.
Like a large, like kind of like what we just saw, where it's a balancing patch, but you enter in like a new hero or like some other event or things along those lines. But the largest time between events is between the major Div 3 or the Tour 3 major in TI. That's the longest group like bit of timing that you have,
Mm-hmm.
or directly after TI, one or the other. So like you could also like right after TI release a brand new patch, which they've never done, by the way, and then play the full next season on based on balancing patches that they see after each major.
That's how I'd like it to be. You know, I want the patch to be like the most refined, so that by the end of TI, it's like you were the best on patch blah blah blah, essentially. And then after TI, we get a whole new update to change the way the game plays, whatever, whatever. That's at least in my mind, that's like the best vision I could have for the game. But unfortunately, they don't see it the same way.
Who knows? Maybe they'll hop on that because this is a brand new format, right? Like this is the first
Yeah.
time that they're running this format. So it is maybe something that they're thinking about or like realizing. Because our thoughts, and this is just like pre-podcast talk. They said late April is when the new patch is going to come out. The Division Two DPC ends on April 23rd, and the major starts on April 28th. So you have the 24th through 27th of like break basically. Do you think that they're going to release this on the 24th maybe, 25th? I think it's got to be 24th or 25th. Like no
It's
way
got
they're
to be
doing
20. It's probably 24th or right after the last Div 2 game.
Yeah, that's true. On the 23rd. Cuz you want to give time, right? Like you're about to run into the major, and especially with this, like the only crazy thing is like this is scrim time. Like right before the major starts is like your boot camping,
camp.
right? Like
Yeah.
the 2 weeks beforehand is boot camp. And you're gonna boot camp, and then all of a sudden, bam, new patch drop. Like, what did you just practice? What did you just boot camp? Communication? Like that's all you can really get out of it, right? Like they change like the map up and like the gameplay, and let's say that Wilshi's big dreams come true, and all of a sudden it's a jungle patch.
Jungle!
Like all of a sudden you have a fucking like you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you just wasted a full week. Like you absolutely just wasted a full week going through that. So
You play
maybe.
the major on the old patch, but we get the new patch.
Oh, that would be insane.
I don't understand why we don't actually
I'm a thro-
sometimes have like the professional patch.
Ooh,
And
that'd be
like
cool. Like there's like
because
we
like
could keep the pro patch on
they-
7.32D and then keep like the others advancing, like the
E.
public games or otherwise.
Yeah, and then give them a couple weeks so they could like practice the new patch and then pull them over, right?
I know exactly why that is, I think, because then they can't play them in pubs. Like they learn, I think a lot of these guys spend a lot of time playing in pub games to learn this. I
But
think
they already
you're gonna have to coordinate now scrims to just play the patch and try something.
How is that relevant?
Why is it
The
relevant?
patch is old. They don't like they're not really learning too much from pubs on 7.32D last week.
No.
It's not like they were making brown cake breaking discovery. Like it's old, right? So like put the patch out on the 24th. Let the tournament play on the old patch. As the tournament goes on and stuff, teams get eliminated. They can start practicing the new patch, and then right after the major, make the professional patch the now new patch, and then teams had time to like see stuff, work stuff out.
That's actually a very good point.
Teams that were going to do qualifiers have already had this patch because
Yeah.
they're not pros.
Yep.
So they're working on the new patch and stuff. Like you just give people time to like almost adjust and move over to the new patch instead of all being forced straight into the new patch in one like 4-day prep time.
I like that as a concept,
I think that could be
especially.
interesting.
Yeah, I like that as a concept, especially because you're talking about like other players who got eliminated have more time to kind of go in and figure out more of the new patch, or people who have been like demoted to another bracket. Ooh, that's interesting. I like that a lot.
And like teams and players are going to talk, like they're going to be talking about the new patch as well and stuff. Like I think it could be interesting. You'd have to do it right though, and I could definitely see people getting upset.
I would just like a game mode where I can play any of the old patches.
Yeah, no, I want throwback servers real bad. I want throwback to like 6.88 kind of time.
Well, you're not allowed to because you got to practice.
Well, damn.
What do you guys think of Marta?
I don't
So
care
let's-
about that. I want to talk about the real changes.
Hold on.
That's
remember,
the new
remember, one of our
features.
listeners is Cookie's girlfriend. She doesn't know who Murta is. So for anybody who doesn't know, Dota
No,
added a
new
hero.
features.
Ugh.
We'll get there.
Start with the new features, fuck.
Why?
Fine.
Because
Whatever. All right.
advanced
Gameplay
battle stats.
update
I think is
7.
more.
Oh, you
No,
want
no.
the features. The features. I
Yes,
feel
the
you.
features,
We
dude.
can do
The
that.
advanced battle stats. That's
Uh,
I love
fuck-
it.
You know what I don't like?
What?
I've been tracking my MMR and all that shit and like everything I just did, and all of a sudden it says, "Boom, pay this and I'll do it for you."
You know what I like? Is they said Overwolf, hey, we don't want you doing this.
We'll do
Like-
it ourselves.
5 days later, they push the patch. By the way, you guys can pay and have this done.
Yeah.
I think I personally I like that. I think the customizable quick casting, I think that's pretty dope. I can see you panicking to find it. You were on the right page prior,
Was I?
the website.
Customizable
Yep.
quick casting.
Yeah, but there's a way that you can actually go to this, and I can't
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
to do
I
that,
don't
it's the
know.
old player stats page. Go to your player, like your main profile. Go to your stats, battle stats right there.
Fuck.
And then there's the week, month, 3 months, year, all time.
Yeah, see, if I would have had access to this and realized that I am total trash at position 4, I would have been playing like POS 5 way longer.
So I think this is a massive quality of life thing, and the reason I say this patch is better than it is actually because the features and the new hero.
I also
So
think
it's-
this is ass in the fact that it shows that I can choose, like, I've only played 3 heroes in the last week. That depresses me. Well, I guess other than more than one game.
So I
playing
really
this
like
more.
the quality of life changes. I think the customizable quick cast I think is also finally something I've personally wanted.
Explain to me customizable quick casting, please.
Um
Well, let's read it. Find or control your fingertips. Quick cast users can now individually assign which unit-specific abilities and items are triggered using key press or key release. Check it out by selecting unit-specific hotkeys and enabling quick cast for your abilities, items in the hotkey tab of menu settings.
So before you could either have it on, I think, key release, everything on key release or key press for like stuff, but now you can choose for like specific abilities. Do you want it the moment you press it down or the moment you release the key?
Okay, I'm a bit too much of a pleb to understand the effectiveness of that and what
So,
instances where that would be good.
Think if you have a skill that casts in an AoE and you want to see exactly where that AoE is, you could press down on the key. It'll display the AoE, right? But not cast it until you release.
Okay,
So
but
you
then
can have
you-
that
yeah.
specific skill on the release.
So if you don't know, like, quick cast where it's good is like it's just faster, like when you're casting abilities.
Yeah.
Like, so it's always useful, especially like I use a shit ton on like Earth Spirit, Lena, like Enigma, things like that, where I need to get a bunch of spells down quickly. Disruptor's another one. Like, you want your spells down quickly, and it eliminates a full button press, which eliminates time, right? And
Yep.
the higher you go up in rank, the quicker everything has to be because people are just better. That's like why you have some damage types being instant now instead of like a 0.5 second delay.
Mhm.
Where like macropyre, that was one of the changes where instead of
People would
a 0.5
blink.
second delay, you can macropyre that people would blink away. So getting things down quicker eliminates that reaction time or like closes like the amount of time you have to react. So quick cast was always great. But the problem that quick cast had was, let's say that I'm using like Lion and I have quick cast on finger. Well, if you have that, I never used it on quick cast because I was always worried I'm
Finger
going
creep.
to finger creep. But if now I have it on button release, now I can make sure that my mouse is over it and I can release on the button if I fuck up initially and I catch it.
That's
See, and
sounds cool.
I haven't completely looked at this, but if you could even say I don't want it to quick cast on creeps, that could be huge.
And the other bit is like, think of like how many times you've been chronoed, or like chrono's just been a tad bit off. It's the point of usually people would put chrono on quickcast, but now having it on button release, you push the button, you get the AOE effect that you can see, and
Yeah,
then you're
you
able to
can
line up.
perfectly grab
Yeah,
those two heroes that are just close enough.
right. But
So
in
it
other
is
instances, like Earth
actually a
Spirit putting
very
down
nice
a
quality of life.
remnant, you want it on the button press
Yeah,
because you want it out quick.
Sleight of
So,
Fist as well.
yep. So it's a quality of life thing that you're not going to see much in the lower ranks, but you will see massively the higher up you go in MMR.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then friend list improvements. Honestly, awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know about you guys, but I got 300 some odd random pieces of shit on here. So being able to have you at the top, Greco, will be nice.
yeah. I'll be the only one up there because I'm your only friend.
It's true.
Very true.
And Frost.
Let's not go that
Oh,
far.
and Frost, yeah.
And Frost. I won't put Walshy there because he's going to remain offline anyway. So, yeah, and those are the new features. I think they're awesome. Like I really like these personally.
Okay, now we can talk about the hero because I guess it's
You
the
don't
next
want to
most
talk about turbo mode changes?
Fuck no.
All right, let's talk a bit about Muerta. So it is a range. I think everybody knew that. You're the only one to play against it so far, JMO. What are your initial thoughts?
Definitely. Okay. Off note. Bloodlusting this hero is hilarious right now. If you're in a pub or you're playing with this hero, definitely bloodlust it because it's like the size of the Twin Towers. It's hilarious.
What?
So fun bug, but right now, if you bloodlust the hero, she grows to a ridiculous size.
You're kidding.
No, I'm dead serious. You can go to a demo right
I'm
now. Chico.
demoing right now.
I am doing that shit right now.
So I'll keep talking while you guys you play with her. Um she seems to me like a mid. A game I played against her, she was mid. Um she seems like a really strong lane dominating mid. Her Q is really good at like just stopping you from ever getting range creep last hits because she'll just fear you away. She can fear you under her tower. Like she seems like quite a strong laner. Her team fight ability on her W is strong. Do not underestimate that. Um, it had insane impact in the games you're playing. The silence is just kind of ridiculous.
Are you sure?
Just keep bloodlusting it. Just turn her free spells on. Oh, it's not happening.
Must have
Maybe they
already fixed it. Yeah, it must have been something in the netcode.
Dude, she grew to ridiculously big. I don't know what was happening.
They must have fixed it because she's
Damn.
normal now.
So her lady seems really strong. That T fight spell seems really strong. Her third ability, I don't know. Like I don't know if she's a carry. Like she just doesn't feel like a carry to me from the one game I saw. So like take it with a grain of salt. But
It feels like a magic. If it's gonna be carry, it's gonna be a magic damage carry. I think.
it's an anti carry hero in my
Yeah.
opinion. Any of the high armored like agi carries, she just can counter. They
Oh,
can't
yeah.
commit on her. She pushes ulti. You can't dispel it with like null or anything.
I mean, she shits on any agi right-clicking hero, right?
Yeah,
Like it just seems like at least PA she'll
like we
shit
had
on terribly.
there was a
shit
there was a
on.
TA on our team, and they blinked on it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because all Murata, whatever the fucking thing did, just pushed alt and they couldn't kill it.
Yep.
But that silence ability, ridiculous.
It seems. I
Like,
really
The crazy
do.
thing is you can put that down and then fear into it, like.
Oh yeah.
And that's
They just can't
nuts.
fight in it, man. It's just so strong.
I mean, I gotta say, I do find it personally ridiculous to think that like there's a talent for it. So the gunslinger, for anybody who doesn't know, it's her passive, and she has at max level a 50% chance to shoot an additional shot with her right click, meaning she right clicks essentially twice. If there's
A separate
another,
target.
not a separate target every time. Right now, you can do it to a single target. If you're in a single target with another hero or enemy or creep around you, it'll hit the same target twice. That's ridiculous.
Can we talk about the biggest deal about her though?
Yeah, it does do twice.
No mobility spells.
Yeah, that surprised the hell. She's the first hero in a long time to have no mobility.
Oh, she
You
can shoot
know,
the same person.
I definitely think
The only thing that can be said is she gets
This is-
phase movement from
the more I
pierce
see
veil.
this, the more I think it's definitely a mid. Because like you definitely want Blink Dagger on the hero, right? Like Blink Dagger is insane. You can blink in, almost like reposition like a Magnus or Tiny, right? Blink in, fear, like back or things along those lines. Put down your silence, blink, all those fun things.
I feel like it's
She-
yeah, sorry.
This fucking like the dead shot in general, I think it's a massive like nuke. But I can still see this in a 4 being played. And like it's weird with like the gunslinger, like you just literally don't level it until later. But it's once again you can build like fours love blink daggers. You build like a blink, you fear like off the tree, and then the silence
The
is
W is their
and the
best
slow
spell.
is really fucking good. So
That
the
W
sheet,
is just crap.
and then you got like a fucking you get a force staff or something too. Like you blink, like you go alt, blink in, and throw all your shit, and you could just get to walk out, like for the most part.
Yeah.
And you could go like things along the lines of like a veil. E-blade is actually something that's being picked up on a lot of fours. I can see it. Like, I
Revenant's
can
brooch,
see it
the
as
very
a
item that
four.
was made for the hero.
You mean Revenant's brooch? She is the hero. Like she literally is a Revenant's brooch.
She is kind of a walking Revenant's brooch. Got to give you the credit. there.
Like I could see Revenant's brooch when it's on like a mid, but like it's also one of the few heroes that I could almost see a Sanjin Kaya being built up, or not Sanjin Kaya, Yasha Kaya
yeah.
being built on this hero.
I think, yeah, it's one of the few ones that'll actually want to build that. I honestly do believe it's still going to be a 1. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to like you're going to build Revenant's brooch. You may build
No.
E-blade.
You're not gonna build Revenant's brooch.
I think you will.
Not on a 1. Not on a 1. I don't. Why would you build Revenant's brooch?
because the
She already
hero
has it built in.
because it's
She has
int-based. But it's yeah,
Her
exactly.
ult is literally a Revenant's brooch. Why would you need another one?
Save teammates.
What?
What?
How do you
teammates.
save with a Revenant's brooch?
Use on teammate.
You can't.
Y'all have not played with Revenant's brooch enough, man. Honestly, playing with a bunch of unprofessionals here.
Fuck.
Do you know what Revenant's brooch is? Well, she.
Yeah, it's the brooch, and it's of the Revenant.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
it do?
Look at all the saving I'm doing with my Revenant.
It takes a Revenant, it takes a brooch, and it makes it Revenant. It's very simple. I'm amazed you don't know this, honestly.
First day.
No.
Her W is her best skill. It is.
Is there damage
in a team fight? It's nuts. It's a
Unironic-
great farming ability for camps. The creeps attack you slower.
Unironically,
It's-
I think she has some of the best wave clear I've seen in a minute. Like, I mean, I really got to say, man, like you're talking about a Maelstrom with a gunslinger perk where you have a chance of firing twice.
It stacks with her AoE
Refresh.
stacks. So if you have refresher, that's absurd.
Like the slow and everything stats.
She can't attack through BKBs with her ulti. If they BKB, she can't attack them.
That's a pretty significant weakness. That does have to be said.
Yeah, but again, you're the anti-carry, so you're coming in after they push BKB.
Yeah.
Like, is what you have to be aware of.
Like you literally, I still think like Blink for that reason is like that much better because you can just blink backlines and take out.
Yeah, you can just kill the
Supports,
backline until the BKBs are down, and then as soon as it's down, you just do your anti-carry thing.
Because you think like what are most supports gonna do against right clickers? Like they're gonna build fucking Ghost Scepters.
Force staffs, Glimmer Capes.
Sorry about you. Like you want to force staff away? Fucking come back, bitch. Like you like You want to build fucking E-Blades? Sorry about you. I have a built-in revenue switch. Like this hero is a mid 4, if you ask me. Mid pot 4.
4 is a stretch. Definitely mid. Maybe
I-
a carry. You could probably work it into a carry.
I think it is a carry.
We'll see though. I haven't seen the carry build for it yet. Like I haven't seen someone build like just straight right clicking.
That's fair. I mean, that's every single hero that's come out, right? Every time a hero comes out, everybody at first plays it mid. Everyone does.
Oh yeah, because they're always busted.
Yeah. Well, no, technically they're underpowered
What
at
would a
first.
carry-
Then
carry
everybody
you
figures
probably
it out.
want-
Then it gets buffed, and then it's broken as shit. That's exactly the way that goes.
And her
Oh,
second
man.
shot proc.
Yes, it
That's what I
can.
was checking.
Yes, it can.
It looked like it did.
So you can
Because
proc
then you want
Maelstrom off of
Maelstrom.
your second shot.
No, they nerfed Maelstrom, but
Given.
Oops. How do I refresh?
Free spells. Just click it and unclick it.
Reset. Nope.
oh, my battle report came in. If you go back to the menu, you guys can get your battle report.
So, anywho,
My featured hero, Slurk, 3 and 3.
You're a
Wow.
scumbag.
I could definitely see this with like carry build. A Glype feels really good. Obviously, you want BKB. I still think you want like a Blink Dagger for sure. And then what? You go. I assume Dayless would be fucking insane.
It is recommended in the base build. They recommend the base
Oh
build
yeah,
recommends
yeah. Get fucking
Gleipnir.
procs.
Yep, even in your
Get
Revenant's
those
form.
procs. Yep.
And it does do the extra magic damage based on your crit.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a Glype rush. Like it almost plays like a Clinks, like a Clinks per se.
Yeah, I could definitely see like Blink and Gleipnir on this hero, and then you're just running around like just shooting people in the face, right? You Gleipnir, you fear them with your Q, and then you just shoot them in the face 7 times. Or
Yeah,
you set
I
up
like
and you set up your silence.
Yeah,
Which
I
let
think
it,
it can.
yeah, which let it be said, that's not short at all. It's like at first level, it's a 2-second silence. At final level, it's 3.5 seconds, which is incredibly long.
I like it. Let's move towards into the patch. We've kind of talked about Marta quite a bit.
Items of note.
Items, yeah, we'll do items. The only thing really to note, like they are cool items, not the items sets. I do kind of like.
I hate these systems they try and put us in, like, buying keys. I don't want to buy keys. I hate
No.
Counter-Strike does it, so I'm not doing it here. Don't fuck off.
I'm sorry, IO
Like-
set. Need IO set.
It's stupid. If you like, I don't know how it works. If you can unbox like a tier 2 or 3 item, but if you can't and you can only get tier 1 items, it's 25 keys to get one of 2 tier 3 items. And at 20,000 shards per key or $3.40 Canadian per key, it's fucking.
Hold on. I need to share this. Guys, take a look at my stream, please.
Sure.
Can you talk about what's on your stream? Because we are on.
Yeah, I managed to figure. I apologize, guys. Everybody at home, I figured out how to make the Revenant do the thing with the size. Whoop.
There.
What in
Yeah.
the?
Yeah.
So for anybody who can't see this at home, I'll have to show a screenshot of this. But every other hero on the map is about the size of my foot as Muerta right now, and it seems to be that every time.
Yes, sir.
It seems to be every time that I come out of the ultimate, which is Pierce the Veil, give it a second, I grow a little bit bigger. Oh, yep, there I go.
Yeah, that's what was happening then. She was
Well,
getting bigger and then bloodlusted.
yeah, so now I don't
And
even
that's
know.
why it was higher than my ancient. Okay.
Higher than your ancient, dude. If you have the
Well,
cave,
it didn't.
the
She
cave-
didn't get to this point. She didn't get to this point.
I was about to say, like, if you have the cave, like map on, like your head's going through the ceiling. Hands down.
Fair point.
Anywho,
Go on. Good.
We're not going to talk too much. We're not going to do like a purge patch
No.
analysis at all. But I do want to get thoughts on a couple things. Like we'll go through the general updates. There's only 3 of them.
Persef, I think, is the
Re-
first one.
Reinforced units now take 10% less damage from player-controlled creeps. Affects all summons like treants, eidolons, etc., as well as dominated creeps but not creep heroes like Spirit Bearer nor illusions. Think fuck. Like, it seems like they're trying to get away from the zoo meta a little bit with this.
Yeah.
Like,
That seems substantial to me, though. 10% less damage, I think, is going to have a massive effect on people like Lycan and Beastmaster. That's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's gonna make it kind of calms down profit a little bit. A lot of the zoo because it feels like you're either an Aura bot with like Greaves Pipe or you're well, you know what? Every single offlaner is Greaves Pipe. You're like I can build Greaves Pipe on Broodmother and push towers and all that stuff too. But yeah, I like that a lot. Range creeps are not level 5,
Well,
so
reinforce. Those are siege creeps and buildings, right?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think buildings are reinforced units, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Okay, so there you go then. No, you're right then. Now there's no more like 1,000
Because they do a lot of
Broodmother
damage
spiders,
to. Yeah. They're reinforced because siege creeps and towers do a lot of damage to each other because of the way the.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of numbers here, so I'm not getting into it. But
Range creeps now level 5 prevents Enigma and others from converting them early. Oh my god.
doesn't stop Oracle at level 3.
No, it does not. However, that's like the biggest kick in the dick for
Thank
Enigma.
fuck. What a dumb fucking thing.
The entire reason that you play Enigma.
They got rid of Lich doing that shit. I don't know why Enigma still fucking does it.
The Glyph Tower bonus attacks increase from 4 to 5. So it just hits like your Glyph. I don't know. Are you Glyph longer? Oh, never mind. When they shoot out multiple, it's 5 instead of 4. Any big item things? Like the only one that really force staff, so mana cost increase from 100 to 150. That's kind of an asshole move.
That's chunky, dude.
Everybody was building them, man. Carries were building them. Fucking. And the reason I think this is of note is because we do have a patch coming, and I think we can see some foreshadowing in some of the balancing changes we see. So I think Force Staff might be nerfed even harder, which I'm kind of not against.
Chain lightning damage and like damage from Gleipnir has been nerfed a little bit, which to me
reeling in
I instantly go to like when they fuck with like Maelstrom or something, I instantly go to look at okay, what do they do to Battle Fury?
Yep.
They didn't do anything. What do they do to Radiance?
The big change here is Sacred Relic.
Sacred Relic
patch winner.
350 like gold less. Like to me, I'm thinking like Spectre loves it.
Alchemist.
Naga loves it. Alchemist, like honestly, like what I'm looking at, I can't imagine Alchemist not being played.
I think Null's the bigger thing of note. The bigger
Null,
win from this change.
Null is also really, really good with this too, because now it's more of a prevalent item that you're gonna buy, and probably a little bit earlier, right? But the reason I say Alchemist is like Alch also got a max stun duration increased, like pretty substantial.
Support Elk got
like
a buff
in the early
actually.
levels. And
I think
bonus
that's
damage
more
for
buffing
Spectre.
Support Alchemist, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit. But
I see what you're saying.
I see like if you get 1 point in unstable concoction, like to me, that's just value now. It makes your like 1 point in unstable concoction better.
Oh,
because it doesn't increase later. It's just scaled towards starts higher. So like your level 1 is like the big difference. And then level 2 is like real small, 3 is like even smaller, and then 4 is the same. So like where I'm looking at this is 1 point in like unstable concoction, which is usually what you'll get like on an alchemist, like carry, and you add in the radiance, like being less. Like,
I think we see radiance for about a week, and then we're back to Maelstrom. Personally,
so?
Yeah.
This was something that I thought about when it comes to Muerta as well. Is you're adding a ranged carry-ish looking hero in when a new patch is coming out, when it's been a ranged meta for a very long time. I'm just wondering if this is like ill-timed, I guess.
That's actually a really good point because like
they've done that in the past though.
Maelstrom, like when it's a range meta, it just makes Radiance not great, right? Because you have to get on top of these heroes.
Yeah.
So That is a good point. Of it is a range meta. Maybe Radiance isn't as good just because of the heroes being played.
I think we'll see Radiance for about a week, and we'll be like, nah, Maelstrom. It's 4,700 gold to start farming. You know, like
Versus what is Maelstrom's like? What,
So-
2,300?
yeah, like
Like literally
it's
half the cost.
such a
About.
it's such a long time difference
Yeah.
that unless the game goes long enough where like the efficiency curves cross each other, like it's just never the right play. So I don't think there was no real gameplay changes that are slowing the game down
right.
to the extent where I think we're going to see like those efficiencies curves cross each other and Radiance outvalue it.
Sure. It doesn't look like they did anything.
Meteor
to
Hammer
trade.
was
Oh.
the only other change that I think is of note.
What
Oh,
did they
you have
do
more
to
to
Meme
say
Hammer?
on Radiance?
No.
Okay.
Meme Hammer channel time decreased from 2.5 to 2. Total time impact decreased from 3. That's kind of nice. I don't have to sit exposed to Meme Hammer Tower as long anymore.
Yeah, I think that's quite a nice change. And I think it's a good item.
Shorter combo,
It's definitely a
shorter
fun item.
duration for shorter total stun time. But let that also be said that it's
Oh.
what's up?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Doesn't
you only channel it for 2 seconds now, but the total time until impact. Oh.
until the damage happens, not
I'm
total,
slow.
yeah.
I'm slow.
It
My
didn't
bad.
yeah, it didn't change any damage numbers.
No, fair
The
enough.
The damage
See,
just gets there a whole second sooner.
see, now here's actually where we're getting to where I was interested in why they lowered the cost of Sacred Relic. Is I think it wasn't necessarily because of maybe Radiance, but I think Nullifier is very, very big, being decreased by like 400 gold now.
Did you fall off your chair and miss
Did
that?
you fall asleep?
Did I just miss Nullifier completely?
Yeah.
we
My
just talked
brain's
about
slow. My bad. All right,
Yeah,
it.
I said next to Sacred
Well,
Relic is probably the
Welshie's
biggest
brain's
winner.
lagging right now.
a little bit. So on to
But like
Revenant's
I do
Approach.
wanna point out
Yes.
that they nerf 4 stuff and then Nullifier also got a buff.
Yeah.
That makes it even.
And this all hurts range carries, by the way.
Yes.
It hurts
Revenant's
supports too.
Brooch, though?
And the spotty
Holy
change.
shit. Revenant's
Yeah, Revenant's
Brooch.
Brooch.
Phantom's Province now additionally grants 60 attack speed for its duration, and attacks are now affected by spell lifesteal. Like,
Chef's kiss.
shit.
I mean,
Like,
I
you
see.
you want an item actually fucking built? That's how you do it. Bust the thing wide the fuck open.
So who
Yeah,
builds that
That's
though?
insane.
Like, who builds
Anybody,
it?
any carry late
fucking
game.
do it. Like,
It's like a 6th item. It's just
It's-
games don't go that long.
so Revenant's Breach is typically really good against when you're playing against heroes with high armor. And
TB, Morphlings.
yeah, like so you're playing against like TB Morphlings, and then there also happens to be like a hero in the game that's trying to avoid you, that's building like Ghost Scepter. Like, fuck. Like you get shredded by this thing, and now it gives you more attack speed. And can be affected by spell lifesteal. Like that's nuts, actually. That's really nutty. Let's say that you're like, I don't know, fucking Drow, like you're playing against a Morphling or some shit, and maybe like a Pugna on the other side, and you have a Paladin sword. Like, shit. Like you're doing a lot of fucking damage.
Yeah.
Especially if the amount of it's anytime you're playing these high armor, like Revenant's Breach is kind of, it doesn't matter who the hell you are, if you're in hero or not, like it's the item.
Yeah. It's a counter carry item.
Yeah.
Carry counter item.
We've talked about Sacred
There you go.
Relic. Do we really need to go over that? They lowered the price by what, 350?
No, because we already said it was the winner of the patch.
Yeah, fair. This Shadowblade change is interesting because I did see this in a couple of my pubs. Is if you manage to apply bonus damage before the invis animation had completed, you still kept the invis and kept the original bonus damage. Kind of similar to how Wind Panda fades, and you can get an attack in while it's fading with the bonus damage, and you can get another one after. I've seen a couple of Clinkses building Shadowblade who will fade Shadowblade and then immediately following it cast Barrage, and they'll get a shit ton more damage.
Medusa can do this with multi-shot, actually.
Exactly, the same thing.
Yeah,
She can be toggling
same
it.
with Bounty.
Yeah, she can toggle it.
But yeah, that's I think it's quality, not quality of life, but just something that should have been
It's an
addressed a long
exploit,
time
really.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of people doing it, honestly. Like the biggest was I thought I saw was the Clinks, but again, that's a Clinks building a Shadow Blade. And
Lena was doing it a lot.
Really?
Because she attacks so fast.
Fair.
That
You get a couple of attacks in.
even
while
if
the
she didn't
Phaeton's
know she
going.
was doing it, she was probably doing it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Any big heroes that you're gonna see? Like we'll talk about the big ones, but like
Yeah, dude.
outside
Arc
of
Warden.
the meta shit, Arc Warden. Oh yeah, you want to start from the top? Let's go. Fucking Ag Scepter's secondary Spark Wraith search radius is decreased. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Got it.
Let's every time I look at this, like these new patches, the first thing I go to is Elder Titan so I can start having fun again. It's like wake up damage threshold increased by fucking 5 and then 20.
You want to just talk
and then
about Lena
35
instead
and
of
50.
Elder Titan?
Yes, I'm just sad because I just
I
want
know.
Elder Titan to be a hero again. Anyways, Lena.
Well,
let
she talk
everyone else
about
to
the
fucking-
significance of these changes on Lena.
Please do.
Let me get to it real quick. There we go. I actually like a lot of the changes because a lot of them make sense. The Dragon Slave, I'm not fully aware of how much that's being used in like a laning phase of that kind, but it's obviously pretty significant to take a cooldown spell from 9 seconds on every level to 12, 11, 10, 9. So it's going to mean that her early game, luckily enough, is much weaker, which is where I think a lot of people had a problem with Lena. I think everyone is okay with Lena being strong if you get all the items on her and you make her powerful. I think everyone had an issue with the fact that she was just strong all
She farmed
fucking
too
game.
fast.
Yeah, I mean, you were just strong all
Way
game.
too fast.
The Light Strike Array being lowered from 115 mana costs at all levels to 100, 105, 110, 115. I'm not a fan of that.
You're the opposite.
Hmm?
The mana cost is increased from 100, 105, 110, 115 to 115.
Oh, I'm glad I got
This
that wrong.
is actually massive.
This is the most annoying thing of honestly.
because that was
yeah.
how she kept her stacks up early game.
It's also
Yeah.
just the most annoying thing in lane because it was really good secure for last hits and it was really good way of just punishing you if you came up for a last hit on like say a range creep or something like that. Like if you were melee against her in the off lane, there was nothing you could do. Like your range creep was there and your support's gone. That range creep is either dead or you're gonna take a shit ton of damage for getting it.
The biggest thing is like the way that you lane with Lena is you want to secure range creep with Dragon Slave or Light Striker Array, and usually you're going to use Light Striker Array because it's a lower mana cost spell.
Yeah.
So putting that, upping it to 115, I believe they're now the same? Question mark.
Also, Dragon did 85 damage level 1, and then no, they're both 100. They used to both be 100 mana at level 1. It's the damage number difference. LSA was
That's
100
what it
damage,
was.
and Dragon was 85.
LSA
could
at level
just-
1 is still 100. Now the difference is that the mana cost is 115. Meanwhile, the mana cost of level 1 Dragon Slave is 100.
Yeah, so
But
you're just
less
gonna-
damage, longer
Yes.
cooldown.
Yes.
So what you're going to
Than what
see
you
now is you're securing more so with Dragon Slave because the mana cost is 100 instead of like
Yeah.
115.
But the
And it's
other
less
thing
damage.
about
Which may be
The
forcing you to
LSA
push the
secure?
wave more, though.
the other thing about the LSA secure was, if you caught the offlaner with it, then you just got to beat on them for a few seconds. Where now, if you
Exactly.
secure with Dragon, you don't get to just beat on the offlaner senselessly for nearly 2 seconds.
And do credit, you're also pushing the wave if the melee creeps are in front of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't selectively.
You
just
can't be
LSA it.
more selective with your LSAs. Well, I mean, that's obvious, right? You can be very selective with your LSAs and what you're hitting, but not Dragon Slave. Not as selective.
Yeah, your position has to move more.
Yep. And then the
nicest-
change that I think
Yeah,
everyone was looking for was the fiery. What were you saying, Greco?
The talents are the biggest aspect of this whole thing.
Oh yeah,
This
we'll get to
bitch
that.
was so fucking tanky.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment. So fiery soul stacks, the per stack for attack speed has been decreased from 10, 20, 30, 40 to 8, 16, 24, 32, which when you're thinking in terms of, okay, that's like 8 less, or rather it's like about 20% less at any level. That's 20% less on stacks of 5. It's very significant. And the move speed stacks have been decreased from 1.5 to 2.53.
I think it's 20% all level, isn't it?
Yes, it's 20% at all levels, basically.
Yeah.
To 1.5 to 2.53 to 1.5, so 0.5% down at all levels. And then as Greco was saying, why don't you tell us about talents,
That's
Greco?
per stack, so that's times 7.
Exactly,
This
it's
bitch
massive.
is so tanky. So the new talent one's level 15 talent health decrease from 350 to 250. These bitches were building it like when Arc Warden was really massive. Like people would like Arc Warden did enough damage, so you would always choose the health talent over the damage talent, and you would just make like Arc Warden super fucking tanky. It's the exact same thing people were doing. Like she does a fuck ton of damage on her own, and then you add like 350 health to this hero, and then she's fast as piss, hits fast as fuck, and then you build a damn satanic on her. Like you can't do enough damage to this hero. Like that was the biggest problem in my mind, was you have this int hero scaling like a damn like strength hero.
Yeah.
That also hit like an agi hero. Like that was the problem. When you're the best at fucking everything in every single category, you know like you have a fucking problem.
Oh, for sure. So something that I thought was interesting that I always like to look at when I'm considering like what's the value of a hero is the concept of how much is your spell worth in rough gold, right? So when I say that, like if I'm looking at Lena, for instance, like she gets 32 attack speed, right? So I try to compare that to like say Hyperstone. So Hyperstone gives you 60 attack speed. So you could say every stack of Fiery Soul about has like 1,000 gold worth of value, which is the way that I kind of think about these heroes. I think the same way about it whenever you get the talent, which used to be plus 15. So now she used to gain, what is it, 15, and she should have 55 per stack. That's a 2,000 gold per stack item, basically, of Fiery Soul. So at max 7, that's like 1,400, like what is it? Yeah, 14,000 gold in value of attack speed, not to mention the movement speed. So the value of Fiery Soul, just in terms of the game, like that's how I understand and I get the concept of like a value of a spell. Fiery Soul was arguably one of the most valuable spells in the game, if not still is.
Yeah.
Did I lose you guys there? Did that make any sense?
No, yeah, I got you. And
Oh.
overall,
Lost Jen.
she's gone. Thank God.
Is this enough to kill her?
We'll go pretty quick because we're starting to
Nature's
run low on time.
Prophet, Sprout Leash no longer pierces BKB. Other than that, you don't really care about the changes.
Yeah.
And then
The big Razor was a big one.
I think
Bad
Tiny
Shard.
Tiny
You
lost a
think
whole
Tiny
tree
too?
volley attack.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed at
And
just
then-
seeing. I'm so sick of seeing just 4 tinies, dude, building just ags into what is it, Daedalus, and just destroying games. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I think it didn't really affect support Tiny. One of the best quality of life changes I see is Winter Wyvern's Curse. Now just applies a dispel to the target.
Yes.
So if they
pretty good.
like go sceptered and then you accidentally cast it alt right at the same time or whatever, it purges that.
Does it say if it's what kind of dispel? Is it a hard dispel or
Basic, I would have to
says-
imagine.
I'm gonna assume it's basic.
I am looking. Winter Wyvern is a
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't say.
It does not
Doesn't
actually say
say.
what kind of dispel. That's unfortunate.
I guess we'll find out later.
Find out
Razor
next
one
time.
was really big. Was really big to me.
Yeah, Shard
where
disappeared.
His shard now is like not that great. It's definitely not a rush item because now it has a fucking like 1 second cooldown, which is ridiculous. Like you're being attacked by fucking everybody. Like you're getting so many damn storm surges off. Like it was ridiculous. 1 second, it's like, oh, this fucking hero's killable now. But you don't actually need like 3 like health reduction items in order to kill this hero late. Or I'm sorry, in the
Pango is
mid
shit.
game.
Yeah, I saw that, and that's what I exactly thought. So tell us about
Sorry,
Pango.
sorry to cut you off there on the Razor, but I just remembered Pango is shit. Roll up no longer applies a basic dispel upon cast. So like if he's Glipnerd or Rooted or something ridiculous, he can't just push roll up.
Yep.
Thank fuck.
Ricky sleep dart range decrease, so now he actually has to be within like century range to hit you. That's fun.
Wow, like to give
Appreciate
credit,
that.
it's from 1,000 to 600.
Well,
That
no,
is
that's what I'm saying.
almost
Like,
half.
It's actually like because before you could not be in range of a like if you're sitting underneath a word, like you could be on the back end of it from where he can enter, and he can still sleep dart you from beyond the century word. Because I think century word vision is 825 if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
So now you actually have to step into the area. Thank fuck. Like even like if he gets the Aether Lens, he still is within the area, and that's really really big. I don't think it like solves the issue that Ricky is, but it's a start.
My last change
Also, the
that I
15
have.
seconds. Sorry, real quick. Going from 12 to 15 seconds is big because that just eliminates a potential second dart coming out in the fight.
My last change of note is Ice Path for Jakiro. 4.5 second path duration, not stun, just the path. It's over half a Fissure of just area denial. You just can't walk there for 4.5 seconds, which I think has a ton of fucking value.
It does.
Because it's basically a fissure your team can walk through, but they can't without getting stunned.
Yeah, the big thing is like it's almost like putting down a pit in the middle of the fight. You put the pit down in order to separate the fight. You can now put an ice path down to separate the fight. For 4.5 seconds, which like is a long fucking time. I think that's really really good. And we talked about it a little bit before, but Macro Pirate now applies this damage immediately upon casting rather than 0.5 seconds after. Like it's really really good.
Yeah. Other than that,
I think
I don't see too much else. Do you, Mushy?
I got a sleeper one. Kunkka boat buff damage delay has been increased from 40 to 45%. I can see that being something that is actually pretty effective going into patch. I think that that's going to be something we're going to see a lot more of. But
did you guys have any what the fuck changes?
any what the fuck changes?
My Leshrac.
Really?
I have not seen Leshrac in a fucking minute, dude. And then they just nerfed his ult by 10 damage. All but the second level. I don't know. I thought it was weird.
My out of nowhere is Hitch a Ride from Centaur's Ags, now applying the Centaur Stampede buff whenever you cast it. I just didn't expect it.
Yeah, I think that might actually be good though.
It is.
Like so they nerf something that you just don't understand why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate on it. I just of all the Aghanims that I was like, okay, this is never built on this hero. Of course, it had to be like Centaur, who they needed to get more Aghanims built on. And then one more for me, just real quick. What is it? OD's Eclipse now does double damage to illusions.
Yeah,
all right,
it already did a ton of damage.
That was my thought too. I'm like, okay, so now fuck Chaos Knight in particular, apparently. But all right then.
So the only one that I was like is TA. It's like, why the fuck did you need to increase her base strength?
Yeah.
She sucks.
But like, what does that do for her? It's so when I look at shit like that, it's like
it's gotta do something meaningful.
You add it's some heroes they add bits by bits over time. So like they'll do a small buff like this in this patch. Maybe the last patch they did a even smaller one, or like things along those lines. Like that's one of the bigger like balancing aspects of these. Where like you like if I'm looking at D, but if I go to D and I'm looking for what's her nuts? TA. It's like, oh, what do they do? Oh, they just kind of fucked with Psionic Trap. And then I go to C and I'm looking for her and see kind of what they did. And I still can't find her. Please. They just didn't do anything. But like those kind of things, like I look like, okay, they're just gonna build up a little bit, and that's kind of how some heroes sneak into meta, because you minorly adjust things, and it's like, okay, this really does nothing, but then the next patch, like they add a little bit more, and then a little bit more. Next thing you know, it is fucking busted.
Yeah, that's definitely how that goes. Heroes just creep in, right? It's always interesting, and it's almost like they go undiscovered for a while, and then like somebody finally puts it together in a pub, and it just takes off like crazy. It's like
Yeah, it's either that or like heroes it's good against become prevalent. And so this thing just got like shadow buffed, but if you played it against like what was good in the old patch, it like still sucked.
yeah,
But then suddenly like they buffed the shit it's good against and it was like shadow buffed for patches and then it's just like cracked.
yeah, the
I mean, they've
epitome
been
of
doing
this.
that to Phoenix for years, man.
Yeah. I want
I
to say really
mean,
quickly the epitome of exactly what you're describing is Axe when he got that shard that added his spin on attack was a thing. And
Mhm.
suddenly Manta Axe appeared and took over the meta for a small amount of time. That encapsulates exactly what we're talking about because everyone slept on that change. And then one person actually did it and took over the meta. Sorry, what you're saying about Phoenix?
well, Phoenix has been like the king of small changes, and then all of a sudden going into the like Phoenix has been garbage for a long fucking time, like well over a year. And then the next thing you know, like the major comes around and it's one of the most picked heroes, and it's performing really, really well. I still don't think it's a good pub hero because just range hero meta and snipers, drows, like Clinks loves to make appearances in fucking pubs and shit and Ursas. But like
Oh, Clanks kind of sucks.
when you can like four pick this hero and then all of a sudden it's really, really fucking good because they just keep giving these tiny little buffs over like extended period of time that all of a sudden you're like, holy fuck, this hero is insane. But last bit before we close out the podcast, I just want to bring up for those listening, we have the team fight against cancer coming up on March 11th. So this coming to kind of give a little background on it. This is a spin-off off of Midas Mode that our very own Welshie came up with.
Hell yeah.
It is going to be typical Captain's Mode Dota.
Yep.
And the viewers have all the control. If you donate certain amounts, then you get to have real-time effects in the game.
Yep.
You wanna fuck with your friend? Send this person back to base randomly, I don't know, 7 times in a row. Then send them back. The viewer has the power. They have to do it. If you want to make them build all stats before they get a single point in any other spell, then they have to do that. You want them to rush rapier? Let's do it. Tired of watching you live? Go sacrifice the Roche and yell Kalima. We got you there covered. You feel like, hey, this drafter sucks. I've been watching Jamokin draft for PSGS for years, and I don't want that shit to happen. Well, go ahead and donate, and you can draft the entire team for them. It is going to be an absolute blast. We raised $6,229 last year. This year, we're hoping to break 10,000. We've got a awesome lineup of teams, and we're almost set and ready, and kind of the closing aspects of it. So we cannot wait until event day. I don't know how you feel, Loshi.
I feel so excited. It's on March 11th, and I'm so excited to honestly play in it. And all the punishments we have for all of our tiers. Like, it's going to be a great time. I'm expecting a lot of pain, but you know what? Going to be a great time.
So, with that, I think we're going to sign off. Thank you guys for watching episode 45, and we will see you next time.
Later.
Bye.